Sweet. So, Matty Moore, tell us about your bloody buck this weekend. Actually, we should set the scene a little bit because this is your first time hunting here, right?
I hunted here probably 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But I haven't been back. I think I've been back for a beer and whatnot, but I haven't actually carried a bow around the hills.
You beer? You don't like them, do you?
Had a few.
And so this weekend, actually, I was a bit bummed. We got to go out for a walk and we just didn't see anything, so we didn't really go for a stalk.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to seeing you in action, to be honest. And then, of course, they're like, "Oh yeah, Matty saw a buck and just went after it and got it."
I wish it was that easy.
That's the way they make a sound.
Yeah, no. So we slipped up. We were up on a ridge there and sort of sitting down, having something to eat and watching a few bucks on the other side. And there was this handy fella with a few girls, and there was another buck there as well. He had not far, had a few girls as well. And anyway, I pulled the spotter out and set the tripod up just to have a good look at him and whatnot. And he had stuff hanging off him out the back.
How far you took him? 800 meters or so?
Yeah, 800k, whatnot.
Just gives you that extra look, that spotting scope.
Yeah, when you can use it, I like it because
I
don't have to get closer with the knockies or
walk
over there.
We're on the hill and we're like, "Oh, that's a good ball." You're like, "Nah, it's just a fat sow."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, save your legs, eh? Anyway, we made a game plan. We got down the bottom of the creek and got the wind right and slipped up above him. And as we were actually stalking in, a boar got up from underneath a log that was bedded, and I drew on him at 20 yards, and the shot was just about to break, and then he peeled off. So I didn't get the chance on him, that's all right. And then he sort of got into 80 yards off a buck where we knew he was bedded there, but we couldn't see him because of the lay of the land. I had another buck sort of grunting only 50 yards from him.
Yep.
As well. And I knew there was some girls and some spikes there and whatnot. Anyway, so we get in probably 40 yards from where I had to be to make the shot.
Yeah.
I still can't see him. So I slip my shoes off, packs off, and I'm on. So ease up the side of this little rocky knob. Oh, it was rocky, but grass sort of over it and whatnot. I got to the last tree and I was sort of had out of cover. I still couldn't see him, but I could hear him grunting.
So you put yourself on the other side of the mountain to where he is, pretty much.
It was just the lay of the land.
Yeah.
It was just to make it work, get in there without being
the
seen.
Wind and everything.
And the wind. And anyway, I've probably got a buck. I can only see his tips of his antlers. This other buck grunting maybe 30 yards from me, and just seeing his antlers going back, and it was loud. And then I could hear this one grunting as well, but he was bedded.
Yep.
Anyway, we get in there and I'm just moving real slow, and I had a spike sort of only 10 yards from me, and he sort of busted me, didn't like what he was seeing there, and peeled out to about 40 and was looking at me, and I thought, I don't know if this might put the attention on onto the other, like this buck might get up, he might rule me, or he might get up or whatnot. So I sort of set up a bit and let him settle. The spiker just barked and took off, but the bucks, you sort of got away.
You get away.
I got away
feel
with
like also
bit.
because they're just like spikies and they hate the spikies right this time. They just always forever chase them off.
Yeah, and they're immature. So what are you?
Exactly.
What do you know, mate? You're
Young
right.
dumb one.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm sort of at this stage I move maybe only I crawl, maybe another 2 crawl. I don't know, not steps, but
like little slides.
Slide me way around, and all I can see is antlers there bedded, and I'm probably 30 yards away from him now. And I couldn't shoot him from there. I had trees and stuff in the road, and anyway.
Did you have any girls around him or anything?
No, he was bedded by himself. Like there was girls sort of with the other buck that's grunting 30 yards away. I've got this one bedded 30 yards from me, and a spike has walked in underneath me about 25 yards.
Yep.
And I'm sort of laying there on my side on rocky ground with a bit of grass there. It's pretty uncomfortable. Anyway, I'm checking him out through the knockies and whatnot, and he's sort of throwing out a few grunts as he's bedded there. And I just eased my way in so slow. And I got in there and I shot him while he was bedded and just punched him through the shoulders. And I think he would have went 30 yards and piled up, but I didn't see him pile up because he went same thing, lay of the land. He was gone.
Straight down, yep.
And it was actually pretty good. It was the first time I've been shaken for a fair while.
Yeah.
Like Yeah, the last time was when a bantang put me up a tree. Um, but yeah, no, it was good, and yeah, it's just I've
So
never
shot, you said, was it downhill slightly on Doom?
oh
Or pretty much
sort
cross?
of yeah, just a cross sort of thing.
And straight broadside laying? Or
Yes,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
basically. Oh, they're curled in, but like
Yeah.
the shoulders are broadside to you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
That's where your knockies come in. Like you've got to
Yeah,
have a
and
look at
use
the
them so much.
hair
Yeah.
follicles and stuff, where so you sort of get the
lay
how
of
they're
it.
bedded,
Yeah, yeah.
bedded, you know. Yeah, so it was pretty good. I've seen a few bucks like him get shot.
Yep.
I've caped a few out, but I've never actually had the opportunity to put an arrow through myself. So it was pretty
New
pretty
record
good.
for this place, right?
Oh well, that's what they reckon if they're going on points or whatnot.
Well, I mean, you said you're not really into the points, but it's still cool to kind of see them go through the process and map it out and then get a score of it. You're like, fuck, there you go.
Yeah, that's it. It's a scale for me.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly, yeah.
It's a scale. But no, he's a pretty old deer.
What did
He's
he end up going? 350. No,
No,
sorry,
it-
250. 250.
no, he didn't go 250. It was 240.
240. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it was-
But he's handy.
Yeah, it's still beautiful buck. Yeah.
Handy buck, yeah. So
And
caped
going
him
on the
out.
wall.
Yeah, caped him out. Oh, yeah, another something else at the taxidermist.
Yeah.
Yeah, got a bit of a lineup yet to come.
A bit to come. And need to build a few walls, right?
Yeah, I do. I've got a few heads in a shipping container at the moment.
Yeah. Would they, if you moved them up to Goga with you, like up to the adventures, will they just not go well with the weather?
Yeah, I wouldn't like to put them up there in the humidity.
Yeah.
We don't have aircon up there either, so
Yeah,
you can't
okay.
get a stable temperature.
Yep.
Yeah, North Queensland in that tropical environment, you want to keep them in a stable.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what I've been told, in a stable like climate, temperature, aircon on, keep it dry so
Yep.
the mold doesn't.
Yeah, mold would affect them.
Yeah,
for
mold
sure.
doesn't grow on them, and
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway,
Good, man. Well, I guess if people want to come to like one of your bow hunters courses, probably a good thing to talk about.
yeah. So we run some bow hunters courses in August.
Yep.
And I've got a few spots there.
You got 3 weeks worth or 2 weeks worth?
Oh, we do it for 3 weeks.
Yep.
But I've got 6 spots left
Okay.
in there. There's
So bloody get on it quick if you
yeah,
need.
yeah. They're not gonna really last long.
Everyone
but-
raves about it. The goes. Everyone fucking loves them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the breakdown of everything. You know, the
I mean, who's
breakdown
the
from
teachers on it? You.
So we've got Brad.
Yep. Brad
so-
Smith.
Yeah, Brad Smith. Got Ian.
Yep. Ian Summers.
Myself. I float around a little bit, and yeah, we.
Literally
put
all
all
the
the-
legends you always hear about, like in every story. It's so funny this weekend, like Smithy's name just gets dropped at every deer camp or every camp in general. Just like, oh, Smithy told me this. It's like,
he would hate that, but
yeah,
yeah,
he would, but it's just so true because he's just such a wealth of knowledge, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And like just the breakdown of the bow and how to shoot it properly and how it
Yeah.
works and how to tune it. Like Summers comes into
It'll
his
save
game there.
years, right?
a lot. Oh, mate, like it's phenomenal
Yeah.
what information comes out of it, and it's just good to get people to put our information out there and they learn. Like
Yeah,
they
definitely
can learn
be
if they've
confident
got.
with it.
Yeah.
Also, it's just, I think it's raised the level of hunting in Australia, right? Like it's just in general what we're putting out, like the podcasts that are now coming out, the videos that are coming out, the courses that are now happening. It's like, hey, let's recover more animals and make sure we're doing a really good job of it, and just have your success higher because of you're doing all the right steps.
Yeah, well, that's right, and that's what it's all about, is making everyone better
Yeah.
hunters and better shots,
Yeah.
and understanding the critter better and how to move in the bush and how not to move.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a big
like
one.
and like foot placement and how to transfer your weight
Yeah.
and in just
The
different
little things you don't even think
like
about, right?
little
Yeah.
1%ers, 2%ers there, like, and it makes a massive difference.
Oh,
you know,
come
like
away with 1,000 of them for the weekend.
Yeah.
You're 1,000% better.
yeah, that's
I
right.
honestly reckon that would save you 2 to 3, maybe even 4 years doing that 1 week course.
Well, we did have one fella come up and he'd been hunting with a bow for 7 years.
Yep.
And he did say that he learnt more in the 6 days there than he had in 7 years
Yeah, there you
while
go.
he was hunting, you know. So
Yeah.
massive shot placement breakdown, and it's just not for pigs. Like pigs are a good bread and butter.
They are. They're good to learn on.
Yeah, good to learn on. Like when I was growing up, like it was pigs and goats. There was deer around, but not like it is this.
But I mean, you also talked to me the other day about you're like up there. You have to hunt them like deer.
Yeah, well, it's crunchy. Sometimes we don't have wind. We have wind. It's like it's hard to
Not
get
easy.
in on it. No, it's
No.
not. No, it's not
Not
easy.
easy.
Like the wind does you in a lot, but you also need to know when to move and when not to move, and
Yep.
you know, like, and the pig population there has been hunted, so they were probably a little bit switched on to that, but that just makes you a better hunter.
100%.
And we tell people, if you hunt them like deer and you want to move around them like deer and whatnot, you're gonna you'll
You get the
shoot
job
boars.
done,
Yeah,
yeah.
you'll shoot boars, but then you transfer it back here into the hills and into other species and whatnot, and bring everything away, and you're gonna be 100 times better.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if anyone wants to take up one of those 6 spots, where are they? Where do they just reach out via the Instagram or something?
Yeah,
or
Instagram. Yeah, give us
Koyoga Adventures?
Yeah, Koyoga Adventures. Me on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
Website. Get on the Koyoga Adventures website.
Yep.
Put an inquiry in there. Give us an email.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and do it that way, and we'll go from there.
I haven't done it, but I've done in the sense of like being around these guys and hunting with like Grant, who's hunted with them, hunted with other guys who hunted with them. And it's like, I think it all just rubs off, right?
Mm.
And when I very first came here, Grant pretty much took me through the same things. Like, do this, do this, do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, just it gives you a one up, that's for sure.
Yeah. And you're gonna get opportunities every day up there. Like every single day you're on critters. You've got arrows on the string every single day.
Yeah.
So you're in it within bow range every single day.
It's the dream.
Yeah. Yep. So
all right. Well, thanks for giving us your bloody update. How good.
Yeah, it's so easy. Thanks, mate.
Like we said, we're going out for an encore in the morning. We thought we might be done, but walking back to the buggy, Grant and I, and you've had a fucking great yet kick in the nuts.
Highs and lows.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the rut in general, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just hunting and bow hunting in general. It's yeah, highs and lows, and the lows are the lows, and the highs are you normally end up with a sore head the next day.
Yeah, we had a few to drink last night. Everyone was a bit dusty in camp this morning. But where do we start? I think end of day one's a pretty good start for you. When we were up on the hills of Matty Moore.
Yeah, that was pretty wild and unexpected evening.
So we're
Afternoon events, yeah.
Sitting up on top of the hill with a spotting scope, just looking at everything was really quiet, and we were looking over the whole valley, just trying to see what we could see. And there was little bits and pieces coming out and feeding, and there was a young buck. We saw 2 young bucks.
You had that one that we seen walking up and ended up walking out like 10 meters above us.
Yeah, had a stick on one side. Actually, that's an interesting fact to bring up. You guys, I always thought that if they had a point on one side and then a full antler on the other side, that it would be a long head. But you guys were telling me that day that it can be based on an injury that they've had.
Yeah.
When does it happen? Like during?
Anytime fighting or something like that, if they got absolute flogging, and from what we've worked out over the years and seen and stuff like that, it's the opposite side to the injury that affects the antler. So if they get a massive injury on their left-hand side, their right antler the next year will be...
And so it's if they get an injury during the rut, then it will affect them the next year, is that?
Yeah, the basics of it, because, I mean, let's face it, the boys are best friends for
the rest of the
11 months of the year.
Yeah.
10 and a half months of the year, they're all besties hanging out and drinking beers and doing their thing, and then, yeah.
And they're ready to fight.
That sweet, sweet aroma comes up and, yeah, makes a budgie try and fucking fight an emu.
So we're standing up on this hill and just kind of looking every which way, telling jokes, having a laugh. And then all of a sudden...
We pretty much thought the arvo was done because the wind had just done a big woolly woofter on us. And, yeah, we started glassing back where we just sort of come from, going, oh, well, this has been a short-lived evening. And, yeah, Matty goes, that's dogs. There's 5 dogs running up there through the paddock. And, yeah, threw the knockies up and put them down, had a double take and sort of, yeah, did some quick math, not some good math, and worked out that it was pretty much going to be sprint to try and...
Well, Matty tried to give him a few calls with his...
Yeah, he gave him a few. He had a, that's a hog caller thing that they use.
Up at Koyoga.
Yeah, for trying to pull boars in and stuff like that. Speaking of boars, is that one? Oh, yeah. It could be one just down. It has 2 dark shooting bastard anyway.
Buck croaking just on the opposite gully.
Yeah, and we'd had the horn, the bullhorn out before, just trying to croak and get a bit of interest happening there. And yeah, I said, Matty, put that bastard in my bag. And I said, I'm going for a crack at these. I'll see you later, sort of thing. And I just hit the legs and
we were on pretty steep country, like to get down that hill, and it had rocks all over it. Matt and I just like slowly walking down. He was like, "Phoom."
Yeah. Moved. Pretty. A little bit silly sometimes doing it that quick coming down like such a steep incline with all them big rocks, but I couldn't not have 110% crack at these things because the amount of damage they cause and whatnot. So.
And they've been here for a while, causing a fair bit of damage, right?
Well, I think it's sort of the drought probably pushed them around a little bit and forced them into new territories. And then all these helicopter shoots and stuff like that, I think, also spread them and pushed them about because, prior to all that stuff happening, we never really had them here. Like, there'd be the occasional track somewhere, someone would see them, but, Cocky lived here for 29 years and said he'd never seen one and shot one back in the drought in 2016 or 2014, somewhere back in there. And that's the first dog I'd ever seen here. But ever since all of that.
What's that? Yeah? It's any cows here. Must be a pig.
So that's a log pug. A log hog.
Dark's plain eyes. Playing tricks in the eyes.
Yeah, that's almost not worthwhile looking because it's too dark. But I think with all the heli culling and stuff like that, it's pushed the dogs around and forced them into different areas or give them the option to go into other areas and breed up and stuff like that. So, big thanks for that, guys. I basically all but sprinted across 3 gullies, and every time I sort of crest the ridge, I could see the dogs, and they'd be having a bit of a crack at chasing some roos or wallabies and stuff like that. And as they'd go over a bit of a rise, I'd power on again and try and catch up with them. And
fox, is it? No, kangaroos.
Oh,
kangas.
Yeah. Just walking out from the hill. Hence, sorry for the huffing and puffing.
The tripping and.
Yeah, Matt's already fallen over 3 times. He's as graceful as a bull in a china shop. But I eventually caught up with them, and I sort of camped up under this bit of a tree, and I'd have been 50, 60 metres off them. Let out a few squeaks and a few calls and tried to get them to come in, and they weren't really interested. And I'd been watching them as they were doing it. They'd sort of set up and they'd go 2 or 3 high and 2 or 3 low and try and sort of loop around these kangaroos. Or they'd sneak up the creek and they'd be feeding up on the edge, and they'd pretty much just run out and charge at the ones with the small joeys. Thinking of trying, push mum off.
Feed.
And easy feed, bit of fast food, bit of Macca's, cheeseburger and chips,
It was interesting because we were like, 800k behind you or so.
Yeah.
By the time that all happened, and they were just all these bloody pigs, deer, everything was just feeding out of this gully, like sprinting. Like, fuck, they're here.
Yeah. Everything got a bit sideways and a bit chaotic. But, they ended up pushing down into this bit of a gully. Kept following, and then I got to a point where I couldn't really move or do anything else. So I just pulled out the like Tenterfield style whistle and give a bit of a blow on that, and I caught the alpha dog at the back's attention, and he come back in and sat down, and he just sat there looking at me. At the same time I was calling with that, it fired up a heap of pigs behind me, and they all started carrying on. So this dog sort of heard all this whistling and carrying on, and then looked across, and he was probably 20 or 30 pigs and piglets all behind
when you
me.
said they were carrying on, what were they doing? Just like,
just I don't know whether that whistle got them excited or something like that. I've had it before calling foxes and the pigs come in. I don't know whether, because pigs will eat meat, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
they think it's an injured rabbit or something, an injured
Have
bird. And,
another quick feed on.
well, it's all protein for them, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
And then a Disney movie for them guys, it's just about survival. So
yeah.
the more they can put in the tank, the better for them. But yeah, this fella propped up and sat there and sort of, give him the range and set the pin and just waiting. I sort of had one little shrub between me and him, and he's sort of staring in my direction. And then he's turned back for a split second to look at the rest of the mob that were up behind him. And yeah, I just settled the pin and hit this thing, and holy, he carried on. Like, the boys, 800 meters behind me,
Yeah, it was
and they could hear
hectic.
it. And
Like, as you can imagine, a dog howling sort of thing. But like, I don't know if I don't know, but yeah, it like echoed throughout the whole valley.
it was loud, and I put another arrow on and like closed in a bit closer in hopes that, bit of dumb luck, the rest of them would come in and I'd feed the whole lot of them. But was not to be that particular day. But yeah, and then
A big old fucking dog though.
yeah, he's a big male boy. Like, yeah, I'm pretty stoked with it.
Pretty sure he was the dominant too.
Yeah, well, he was. I don't really know, but the stuff I've sort of watched on wolves and other wild dogs and stuff, the dominant female stays at the front and the dominant male sort of stays at the back.
Yeah.
So, and he was at the back. He had a big old set of nuts on him, so smelt pretty rank as well. So I'm presuming that he was the alpha male of the group, but yeah, I didn't get the chance to knock the other ones over and find out for myself. But yeah, pretty good guess that that's what it was. And then crazily enough, after shot him, a sow and two suckers come up from the creek and started laying into him. The sow was up him, like hitting him and throwing him around with a snout.
Good
Pulled the video.
payback.
Yeah, I got the camera out and missed it by all of 2.5 seconds. You can see her just walking away from it.
Yeah.
And then circling back around and having a bit of a sticky beak.
I've seen them do that on pigs that I've shot. Like when you shoot a pig and they'll come down and attack it. If it's...
Well, they eat meat like they're
Yeah, exactly.
they're omnivores. The best protein is the best protein.
Yeah.
Anyone that's a vegan knows you got to eat a lot of fucking broccoli to equal one steak.
Exactly. But it wasn't not a deer, but probably the matriarch of the hills, right?
Yeah, well, do a fair bit of hunting, and that's the second time I've seen the dogs up here, and yeah, I've shot 2 now, so I'm pretty
second doggy
pretty
shot.
happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sent a picture through to a couple of the cockies, and yeah, fuck yeah, was one of the responses. So
The chuffed.
yeah, that was a pretty good virtual pat on the back.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
definitely.
Yeah,
Good to give back. And then you and I went out yesterday morning and
I had a morning.
we
I had a day.
had a day. I mean, things didn't necessarily go in your favour.
We'll talk about the highs and lows of bow hunting, and I reckon it's almost 90% lows, 5% highs, and 5% real fucking highs.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So I think you had 4 stalks before we got to that
Yeah,
final.
before I ended up getting onto that one there, and yeah, just they're rutting this year in fairly thick dogwood and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
um,
At one point, you had a doe come to you at 4 meters.
yeah,
Just come to have a look at what you were.
nearly able to grab her. She was a little bit too curious for her own good there.
And another part, you're on pretty much like a lek, and you had everything come around you, run all the way around you.
Yeah, there was stuff left, right, and centre. That was pretty chaotic as well. It was a real good day. Like, just a couple of like deflections and stuff like that with the arrows. I'm shooting a different bow, so I haven't exactly got me windows 100% dialed with how this bow shoots and what the arrow's trajectory is. So yeah, it's been a steep learning curve, and I have this real good luck thing 11 out of 10 times, if there's a stick in the way, I'll hit it. So, yeah. But eventually got it done on a real old, mature fella.
Yeah, his coronets were sunk.
Mid-morning. Yeah, he's got some real funky stuff going on with his teeth. His teeth are like worn in two different things. It's as if he had like an overbite.
Yeah.
And one side's really long and then the other side's almost like worn down, flush to his gum. So he's got this real skinny, narrow set of almost like a hacksaw blade type setup there on the inside. So, yeah. A bit of a unique deer.
But that was, so essentially you were in that lek and you were going for another deer and then you found this guy.
Yeah, I was chasing one above him, and then that didn't pan out, and just kept pushing down and persisted and had a plan, and the doe blew out, and I thought that was the end of my plan, and
I might be able to hear the buck croaking just on the top of the gully.
yeah, the damn things they don't croak in the arvo when you want to try and find the mongrels, but as soon as it goes dark and you can't shoot them, they all fire up and go, here I am, bud.
As soon as you're right back at the car too.
Yeah, come have a crack. But, he chased this doe. This doe blew out from this bit of a scrapey lek thing there. And, took off, and I sort of, I pack her up, and there's another doe there and a spiky that started feeding out. And I thought, we're sort of semi down near the flats and I can get a vehicle pretty close here, and no one ever says no to a bit of camp meat. So I was half getting ready to shoot this doe. She was about 30 metres below me. And next minute I hear a bit of commotion and look across, and here's old mate tailing this doe, and they're coming straight in on this pad that I just ranged this other one on. So it sort of all worked out real well. And he was a slow trot, and I'm trying to stop him, and I'm throwing a few doe calls at him, and they eventuated from the doe calls to more of a and he pulled up for a little bit, and as I was going through the shot process, they do this big, like when they take off, this sort of like big lunge forward jump type thing. And as the shots, like using a resistance release, so it takes, it's a couple of seconds delay there once you commit to the shot and you start doing your thing. And he's just done this big swan dive jump sort of thing forward, and I've hit him, a long way back. Some Americans would say it was a real good shot, but I was definitely not that way. I was a little bit upset, and I give it a minute, because I was like, you know what, by some sheer dumb luck of miracle, I've clipped an artery, I've collected something here, and sat down.
2 bits.
Sat down, had a breather for a second, and went down to look for the arrow, couldn't find the arrow, and then come back up, and there was blood. There was instant blood where I shot him. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty good sign. And then sort of following this bit of a pattern, blood picked up, and there's more and more of it. And I was going, right, it's looking like dumb luck might be on my side here today. And, from where I hit him, I would have probably gone 40 metres, and I could see him, like, camped up on the other side of this little gully, and had a fallen tree and a couple of small shrubs like dogwood trees and stuff like that between me, and I'm got the glass on him, and his head's right down and like tilted over, his palms are laying on the ground, and he's not well. I couldn't see like the direction he was sort of front onto me, slightly downhill, so it didn't really give me a great shot opportunity either to follow him up and put a second one. But I got into 31 metres to the edge of this log sort of thing, and give him a finish up, and he didn't move. Sort of took a last breath, and his head wobbled a bit, and then it just sort of tilted back the way it was. And when I got up there and had a look and sort of moved him and checked him out, he was just sat in a big pool of blood. I clipped that artery that goes through their leg, that big femoral artery there, and cut
He would have died. It just, you sped up the process.
I think he was all but dead, but years ago I heard a saying, dead's good, dead is better, and I've always, two holes are better than one sort of thing. Yeah. So the more holes, the more they bleed, the more they pass on quicker, and secures it, and there's no shit show trying to find something or going in and bumping it and then only have it get a shit ton of adrenaline and decide to push on, and yeah, you end up losing the critter. So
But he was actually a good buck. Like, he's very,
very old.
yeah, had a fair bit of character to him.
Yeah, some cool points. The second I seen him, I was pretty committed to wanting to shoot him. Like, I haven't seen anything this year that really like raised the eyebrow and made me really want to commit. There are a lot of half-ass stalks, and if I get in, I get in. If I don't, I don't. And yeah, the day before, I passed up a fella that's actually probably really, really handy.
Yeah.
And literally just because he didn't curl in at the top, I passed him up at 25 metres and decided to shoot a spiky instead.
Yeah, we saw him again this morning.
And
it was great.
yeah, that first morning we looked at him again and I went, what the fuck was I thinking? But hindsight was just,
Yeah.
knocking me fucking like Danny Green. So, but yeah, ended up getting him there and yeah, hit him through that femoral artery, and that, yeah.
But then you actually found out that your bow was also shooting slightly to
Yeah,
the
well,
right,
that
like you
was
bumped
that
it.
was after
Was that after that?
that was after this morning's. Yeah, well, after I shot the dog and all that walking, well, come a guts when I slipped over.
I remember when you fell over because I asked
Yeah.
you because it was enough for me to go like, "Are you all right?" Because it looked like a pretty big
Yeah,
stack.
yeah,
I think it was
Oh.
in that morning before we actually got up.
yep, and yeah, well, it was shot that.
So then I think that's also added to the fact like he's lunged and then also
Yeah, well, that explained why that shot on that spiker was a bit far forward too, because he was right to left. And
Yeah.
so it's all starting to make a shit ton of sense.
It is,
but,
yeah.
that old, when you get back to camp, you should check your gear over, is a very true thing. Because if I had done that after the first time and thought about it, I probably would have saved myself a bit of heartache there. So,
Mhm.
yeah, look, that's probably why I was a bit far back on him too. And just
Yeah.
premonition, I just had that realisation now. Thanks.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it after you said it this
But
morning.
yeah, this morning had a few shots, and nothing was sort of going to plan. And yeah, one of them was like a 20-metre shot on a ball that it should have been an absolute sitter. Like, almost close your eyes and do it. And yeah, it didn't hit anywhere near I wanted. Got back into camp, had a shot, and yeah, I'm hitting like 6 inches to the right. So yeah, quick bit of investigation, and yeah, I must have bumped the side or something.
Had it angled completely? The side? Like what mine had done, or?
Nah, different. It wasn't that third axis-y thing there. Honestly, I don't know what's happened. I might have even bent the bar, but
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I just did some adjustments and got it shooting back on
Back
bullseye, and
back inboard.
20, 30, 40, it's smacking dead center again, and I was like, all righto, and haven't had a chance yet to test that, but
No.
yeah, it's been a couple of days. It's been a couple
Yeah,
of
and
days.
this afternoon we were planning on knocking a buck each to finish up with, and it didn't happen, so I have to come out tomorrow.
Yep.
Instead of driving home early.
Yeah, well, no, it just means I'm not having to sleep in.
Yeah.
We'll just burn this wick at both ends for a little bit more.
What
and,
else did you expect in deer camp?
I think we might try and have an early night, but
Yeah, definitely.
going to be
All a bit cooked. I mean, we had 6 hours and then 4 hours of sleep, so
and
operating pretty hard all day.
yeah, someone poured some rums there. Fucking, that bastards with jet fuel. So I think he's trying to kill us.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, mate.
Nah, not a drama,
job.
bud. Cheers.
Cameron, thank you for having me in camp, mate. And I didn't say it, but #1 guide for the year. Not self-proclaimed. It's actually just the numbers. The numbers do the math, right?
Yeah, apparently. I don't know. He's shot a fair few, but I seem to be there when everyone was shooting them. So
You're the success man,
yeah,
the good wingman for camp.
yeah, something like that. So yeah, no,
I think you can almost call that Cam's bench now, where yours and mine were shot off of.
yeah. Well, that one little bench there, we shot 3. What did we shoot? Oh no, we only shot 2. But yeah, you almost got another stalk on one there, and then the other guy a couple of days before almost got another stalk on another one there. So
Yeah.
plenty in that little bench there, but yeah, they sort of, I don't know, they were just everywhere this year. It was good.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it was actually interesting coming to camp. You were saying it's probably one of the better years you've seen out here.
Yeah, I mean, we've been here for 10 or so years roughly, and the numbers were pretty good back back then when it was nice and green and the drought come through, and I think 2018, 19 there, it was pretty bad, and they were pretty much just knocking everything over just because there's nothing around, so they were just knocking all the deer and like the roost shooters around here doing all that stuff to get the property owners paid and all that sort of stuff. But and then the big floods and come back green, and the numbers have exploded in everything: pigs, deer, goats.
So definitely I haven't seen as many pigs this year compared to right now compared to what I've seen previously.
Yeah, they're down on the oats, so they travel a fair bit, but the other morning we got on them pigs.
Yeah, we saw some
fair few number in there, and
yeah,
that sort of thing, good sizes and that stuff. Just didn't work out the way we wanted it to.
It was so funny. You're literally just saying to me, "Yeah, me and pigs, it just doesn't happen."
Nah.
And then I'm like, well, "Where's your pig, mate? Let's go."
Yep,
It was a good ball.
Yeah, I showed you how it doesn't happen.
Your body hit a stick on the way through.
Yeah.
It's been a theme this weekend.
Oh,
well, this week.
It's been a bloody theme for me. I come up pre-rut, got in on good deer, and same sort of thing. 30 metres out, drew back, had a shot. He's in the shade, so it was like early morning, and watched the arrow. I'm like, yep, perfect. Hit this little stick and shot straight over his back, and I was, fuck. And he just trotted off like nothing happened. And I'm like, oh, well.
It's a shitty thing to happen, right? Especially when you put in all effort to get there.
Oh,
yeah. Get the shot off.
Yeah, and then I walked around to the next gully and looked around there, and there's nothing there. And I'm like, I should have just gone back to camp. So, no, yeah, you never know.
You do. You never. Yeah. But you had a bit of success this year as well, right?
Yeah. So that was morning one in like pre-rut sort of thing, just the end of March there, and then the next morning, that afternoon, I went out to grab some trail cams and change cards over, and I got up on top of up on top of a bit of a bench that's got a dam on it, and change cards over and all that, and looking in the gullies around, just glassing, and see this chocky fella, and I'm like, oh, he's not bad, like on the next ridge. And then this white, metal fella just come running out, flat stick, bloody head down, and I'm like, whoa, this is going to be good. I'm going to watch these guys punch on. And the chockies fella just went, nah, did a Yui, and he spotted it out of there. And the metal fella just sort of spun around. There was a bit of like a scrape there. Sort of spun around, kicking the dirt up, and then he just turned and then just full sprint down the gully. And I thought, I've got to get in that gully to try and find this deer. And sort of snuck around the sort of edge of the gully, and went, oh, that some scrapes there and preach tree. And righto, so got in the 20, set myself up, and did a couple croaks and all that sort of stuff, and then rattled, croaked again, and waited, and he just come running in, and come straight into 20 and shot him, and you watched him run about 50 so metres.
Did he pull up at 20? You pull him up at 20?
No, he pulled up at 20 and sort of preached on his tree, but as I was moving me bow over me quiverizer, it's on video, it snaps one of the branches and makes like a crack noise, and he goes to preach and he stops. And then as he stops, I shoot him, and then and I was like, oh sweet, got it on video running off and all that, and then I'm watching him through the trees, and he's there, and his head sort of rolls back, and then he just falls over, and I'm like, yeah, beautiful. So right, I start packing all the antlers and the rattles and all that stuff up, and this chocolate fella that he come in to fight, come from the top side of me, and he come in and slowly tried to put an arrow on, and come in 6 metres. As I drew back, the arrow clicked off and fell down and hit the bow. And I'm just at full drive, no arrow. I'm like, slowly let down, put the arrow on, but he stopped and stopped, and I could see his ass, and there's a big tree in the middle, so I couldn't see his head, and I just slowly peered around. I'm like, oh, there's his antlers. So I repositioned, drew back, and popped myself, slowly popped out, and he just took off and stopped at 20, and yeah, sort of bit of a shit shot, and he took off the gully, and I couldn't find him, so couldn't find him, couldn't find anybody, so there wasn't much blood on the arrow, so I don't think it was as good as I
It
thought.
wasn't fatal.
Yeah, so yeah, that was pre-rut, and then got back to camp, and I don't think I didn't boil him out, the deer I shot. I got back and skinned all his face and all that off. And then, I looked at the app, and it went from being 5 mil of rain to, I think, 40 to 60 mil of rain for the next 3 days. And I'm just like, yeah, nah,
We're done.
I'm getting out of here before it comes. And then, yeah, I got home, and I think it was Sunday or whatever, all the local roads were flooded and stuff. And I was like, oh, good thing I left, because I would have been leaving Sunday morning.
Nah,
so
been stuck in.
Yeah, I would have been stuck here for a day or two. So I was like, oh, that's good. And then, yeah, so that was the first bit. And then, went back to work for a week and was not happy, and come back out here, and yeah, then it just all kicked off. Everybody just, I think I come up here with one of the other guys, and
The action
Matty,
was on.
Yeah, and first morning, I think it was first morning walk. We went, me, Matty, and Brado, and walking around, and they're just going off, and I'm just like, these numbers are mad. Like, yeah, haven't seen this good of numbers in a while. Whether it's to do with less hunting pressure, or I don't think they spent too much time with the helicopters around this area this year, so which is a good thing for us, I guess. And yeah, walking up this gully, and the wind kept blowing us, like walking up, good wind, and then it just died off, and then it just swirled, and
All day.
deer all head up,
Yeah.
looking around, and take off, and you're like, oh, this bloody wind. Every bowhunter knows it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, battling the wind, and yeah, walked just slowly through the bush to trying to get the wind right, and had a couple good bucks come in for Brado's, like, first proper. I think he shot a stickhead sort of thing, 6 years, I think it was.
Yeah, far out.
And he was just excited to shoot a deer. Like, he didn't care what it was. He
Yeah,
just wanted
yeah.
to shoot a deer, doe, anything.
He actually got a
whatever.
pretty decent one, like for
Yeah,
a real buck, right?
yeah. It's real old and tall.
Yeah.
Not good with the, like, because he's old and that. He's not real, like, palmy, but he still went 195, something like that. So, I mean, pretty good deer, like pretty good buck for his first sort of proper rut.
Yeah,
with
definitely.
like chasing the bucks and that. So yeah, but we walked all day and seen some good heads, and couldn't get in, and yeah, we got to this one spot, and I thought, oh yeah, this is it. Like 4 bucks all croaking and heaps of satellite bucks, and I'm like, yep, it's going to be on here. I said, then this buck come out of nowhere to this sort of scrape, and we're like, oh yeah, mean area, like nodding, like, oh yeah, this is it. And it come in. I think he was 30 meters off it, and drew back, and I said, don't shoot. This big chocolate fella come in, and I was like, oh, it's going to be on here. Like, And yeah, he come in, and the young fella looked at him and sort of went nut, and sort of trotted off, and the other fella didn't stop, and yeah, he just chased him off and went up, and we're like, yeah, that's the new target we're going to try and get for you. And then talking about it, and I said, here, I go, oh, I thought he goes, I thought the same thing. I thought, yeah, this is perfect. He'll be able to get up, get a bit closer.
That's the crazy thing about them in rut, right? They're just so erratic with what their decision making is.
Yeah, they just don't. Yeah,
they're crazy to watch.
They're complete, like,
manic.
Yeah, in say 2 weeks from now, they'll be, what's that? No, don't like that at 200 meters.
Yeah,
they just trot off.
Yeah.
As where, like, you can get into about 20 meters and get away with, like, the slight movement.
Yep.
But yeah, the girls, they pick up everything. They're sort of more on edge. But yeah, the bucks, it's just, crazy the way that they just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, their care factor's nothing. They just,
zero.
They just got one thing on their mind. That's it.
The thing with the doodle.
Yeah, well, you only got to do it was it 2 weeks a year? That's probably the only
Yeah.
thing you'd be doing too.
Exactly.
So, but yeah.
So what about your second buck?
Second buck. Yeah, so with the Brados on, we went up, we got tucked by the wind and all that, and when righto, we'll slowly walk out, poking out, and it just coming up to bed, and we just got in position and come up to, I think, shot about 15 meters.
Wow.
And
Just the spot and stalk, essentially, like as he was in bed.
no, he was walking up, and he just
gotcha.
had his head down, like he must have been
He was
tired.
on his way. Yeah.
And we were like sort of in a bit of a opening, and I just went shade, and we just 5 steps in the shade behind like a real thick sort of bunch of trees, and me and Harry there going, yep, righto. Harry's got his range because he's got in yards.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're all meters, and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got his rangefinder, and he's going 40, 35, 30, 30, yeah, 25. And he come up, he goes 20, and then he just kept coming up sort of like broadside, like perfect. And he's on a bit of a mission, like walking pretty fast. And he hit it like back of sort of lungs.
Yep.
And it ran, I don't know, 40 meters up the hill, ran up, and I'm watching it in the binos, watching it, gets to the point, and then it falls backwards, and I'm like, yeah, put another arrow on. I think he's done, but yeah, that's him. And then so righto, and went out that arvo. Oh, he went up and got it. Yeah, sweet. He's over the moon, and
Was that your buck? Or
No,
was
this is
that was Eric
Brados.
Yeah,
And
gotcha.
then then that arvo, we went out for a hunt. Yeah, I missed cracker, proper cracker.
Yeah,
Just
saw the
kicking
video.
myself.
You fall over, hold your head.
Yeah,
I did a similar thing yesterday.
I was not happy. It was big buck.
Yeah.
I've seen him on that bench probably 2
Few
years
times.
ago, and he was big back then too.
Yeah, wow.
And so missed him and went, oh, that's the buck I'm going to chase. I'll come back tomorrow arvo and try and get him. I'll come up to the same spot and sit there and wait all day, whatever. And then the next morning we went out. We were walking along. We've seen a couple good heads getting around, and just watching them and seeing what they're doing and that, and explaining to Brado, like, you should go and do this and this and that, and trying to show him, teach him a bit on how they sort of move and act, like interact with each other and all that
Yep.
shit and that, and trying to if he's got girls and you rattle, he ain't coming.
No.
He's not coming.
You're
Like
not gonna do a
if
thing.
you're at the club and you've got your VIP section with all the girls,
Yeah.
and someone goes, "Oh, let's fight," you're just gonna say, "Fuck off, mate." Like, whatever, fuck, see you later.
Not gonna give him time of day.
Nah.
No.
So, and he's like, "Yeah, righto." And then we walked around a bit, and the wind was pretty bad with it. It started blowing, like we're walking up the gully in the morning. It was blowing down the gully. Yep, and I'm like, righto, we'll get up high, and then the sun will come up, and the thermals will suck up the gully, sort of thing. Will be sweet. And we're up there, and it's still blowing down, and the sun starts to come up, and it's spun around, and like, yep, beautiful. And then it's just completely done the whole 180, and it just started blowing up the gully, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, this wind. And then so got onto that bench where you shot your fella,
Yeah.
and we're a little bit further around and just getting to a peak, and we're glassing the opposite side. And there's some good bucks over there, like fair few numbers, and we walked around and took 2 steps. I went, get out, dropped down, and knocked an arrow. I seen a pair of like antlers. I went, righto, and I'm watching this antlers, and it disappeared. I'm like, okay. So I've sort of clipped me knife and release aid on, sort of spun a bit sideways because I knew he was going to come. I didn't know what way, but I knew he was going to come out sort of broadside or angling away. And he come up. Before he come up, I seen another pair of settled antlers. I'm like, fucking, you done a spin or something. And then as I'm looking there, I see this other set of antlers to the right of him. I'm like, oh shit. So then, I've drawn back, and I think he was about 30 meters, and shot him, and he hit him, and he jumped up and did some bloody kicks and whatnot, and carried on and went down, probably 50, less than 50 from where the initial shot was.
Yeah.
Just ran down there and pulled up and just sat there, and just looking around like he didn't know what was going on, but he knew something wasn't right. And yeah, we're just watching him, and we just sat down watching him, and yep, sweet. Antler sort of slowly dropped back, like, oh yeah, here he goes. Next thing, his head's back up. We're like, fuck's sake. So we're not sure if he was getting chased by this other buck, and he was like, they had a bit of a, I don't know, a fight or whatever, or he was chasing him off. He had a heap of adrenaline in him. But yeah, he's just laying there, and we're like, yeah. About 3 or 4 times, like, yeah, he's done,
Good
righto.
run.
And then you see the antlers pop back up, and we're like, fuck me, this thing's bloody not going to die here.
What where'd you hit him?
It's a little bit far back.
Yep.
And a little bit high. I got lung. I think I got one lung, but it's real high. I've got the opposite side lung.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I-
Shot down.
Yeah, shooting downhill. He was probably I guessed him at 30, and I reckon he would have been 25 or so.
Yeah, okay.
And because he was on the trot too, so I was trying to get that
position forward enough.
yeah, aiming forward from him. And
Yeah.
I was aiming I was probably aiming at the front of like the shoulder
Yep.
because he was moving pretty quick. And by the time I like shot and it hit him, it probably hit him. Oh, yeah,
6 inches back.
yeah, at least, and a little bit high.
Yep.
And then yeah, I didn't actually realise how high it was until when we got down to him, and I went, fuck, yeah, that's probably too high. So he would have got just one lung. That's why he carried on and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was just like, oh, how good's this? And I said to Brad, I said, oh, I shot my big fella. I said, you see that bush there about 20 metres? Like, yeah. And I said, I shot him. He was there. I said, I shot him there. He's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I'm like, yeah. Anyways, yeah, took some photos, happy shots, whatever. And it was that time. He's like, oh, no. Getting a bit late in the day, like 10, 11 o'clock or something. So I was like, all right, we'll head back down, grab a feed, and see how Matty, Harry went and that. And yeah, got back down here, and yeah, he's like, nah, found a big fella, I'm going back. Like, sweet. And then yeah, so we went, I don't know where we went that arvo, but it wasn't very hard. I don't think we got anything, but
Yeah, Harry set up. He would sit on his it was pretty much like a lek, right? It was a communal scrape.
yeah,
I think it's a
yeah.
better way to say it out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'd sit off of it. He sat off of it for a whole day. Didn't shoot anything. Then he sat off for another day and shot a buck, not his big mental that he wanted
No.
to, but he shot a big buck.
Yeah,
And
good buck.
then
real good buck.
yeah, it's obviously smart play at this time of year.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, if you can find a big scrape or lek or whatever you want to really call them, or like a scrape where they all, like on a main pad where they all cutting through. If there's big bucks in that area, they will go to it, or
Yeah.
they'll go and have a look, or see what's there. Because if you shoot say the dominant buck or the bigger buck on that scrape, give it a day, maybe a day or two, and there's
Someone
always
else will take
another
over.
one. Yeah, it's like, that's what Matty Moore, he showed me. He's like, yeah, that there, yep, we'll go and shoot that one. He got a cracker, and he
They
got,
recorded it yesterday.
yeah, he got a good one, and yeah, we spotted that from across the gully. So I took him on the same walk. So we took them, and I took you the first morning.
Yeah.
You got here that night. You got here, and I go,
That wasn't that one that we were looking at when we were butchering mine up.
straight off.
Yeah. And then
that's
the
that
jockey
one.
buck that Grant was telling me about last night, he was the other one that we saw. So there
Yeah.
was that man. Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Got
that
you.
was him.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, straight across that peak. When we
Yeah,
were up there.
wow. There you go.
So that was that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
because you were like, man, he's a proper buck.
I said
Yeah.
that's what I said. I go, he's a big white buck. I said he's
Yeah.
good. He's a good buck. I said he's got some girls there. I said that's all right. And then
Yeah, we kind of left that little honey hole, right? We didn't touch that space heaps.
no. And then we'll go back.
You don't have to tell your whole, right? I just wanted to get all the highlights of it.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of them. a lot
Just
of
keep
them,
going.
I mean, like, then you got up here, and I think Grant got up here the same night. And
Yep.
I'm like, all right, I'm taking. What are we doing yet? Grant's making a plan, and I said, I'm going to take.
You took me out and
Yeah.
Harry went with Grant.
Yeah, I said, I'm going to take bloody. I said, I don't care if I take one of you. I said, I'm taking one of you on this walk. We'll get a deer.
Yep.
Grant's
Morning
like,
one,
"All right,
day one.
Hey,
Morning one, day one for me.
yeah, morning one, day one,
And by 10 o'clock we had a deer down.
yeah, spotted one, and yeah, you can tell that story, but
Yeah, I'll do it a separate one so you don't have to fucking stick around for it.
yeah, that was a good one, and funny how that all played out. But yeah, and then I think Matty Moore come the next day.
Yep, he was here Thursday
Yeah.
during the day.
And I said, oh,
And then
I'll take
Friday
you for a hunt.
morning you shot
Yeah,
his
I
deer.
said, I'll take you for a hunt, and yeah, walk a bit further back to try and get a bit further up the gully before it got too late, and they're all up high, and yeah, walking through, and yeah, he's like, that's a good buck, and I'm like, yeah, he's a big buck over there, and he's like, gets his spot and scope out, and we're a fair way away, and he's like, yep, I'm fucking shooting that. I was like, righto, let's go. I said, we'll just poke around this hill here because there's normally some around here. We poke around the hill, there's none there. So righto, so cut down the hill and did his thing, and yeah, got up and basically did a big
loop around
loop around the bowl,
Yeah.
and come in high because the wind was shit house was blowing up the gully again. So we went up high and come in on top, and there was one good mental buck on top of this sort of hill. We had a scrape tree and that, and he had a couple girls there, and it was a pretty tricky bit of a stalk, but yeah, got down in there, stayed in the shadows, got low.
Could you guys see Matty while you were stalking around that knob?
No, so we seen him.
Yeah.
And then me and the other Matty, there's been 4 Matties here. So
Yeah, 4 Matties in camp, yeah.
And yeah, so me and the other Matty, I think it's Mill, Matty.
I'm not sure. Millgate, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, so we just sat there, and he's like, get an arrow ready. He goes, because if they come out this way or this fella comes out, he goes, just like, yeah, shoot or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So we're there, and I'm set up on one side, he's set up on the other side, and we're there watching him stalk, and we're ranging
All your
our
area.
distance and that.
Yep.
And like, yeah, 20, 25, 40, righto. Working out our gaps, like our distances and stuff. And yeah, he shoes off all this stuff and got up around it. And
How long do you reckon it took for him to actually get that? Because you told the story yesterday, which will be in the same episode, but how long do you reckon it took him from when he left you to getting the deer down? Like, he's like, boys, done.
It would have been, I'd say maybe 15 minutes.
Fucking hell.
20 minutes, yeah. Like he was bedded up pretty tired and like sleeping, and you hear the occasional little
Yeah.
like to tell the other deer to bugger off. But
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't that long.
Yeah.
So yeah, he just sort of I did the same thing the couple of days later, but that's another. We'll tell that in a minute. And yeah, he just snuck around this little bit of a hill, trying to stay low from this other buck, and there's some girls up there, but he was going off his head, and snuck around the hill, and then we lost sight of him, and then we heard like this weird, like it sounded like a doe buck, but it was real deep.
Yeah.
And we both, me and the other mate, looked at each other and went, "Fuck!" Like
Done.
thinking he's been
caught.
blown.
Yeah.
So we like clipped on, and we're just looking around like
Waiting for something.
waiting. I said, and then we heard a noise, and he goes, "He just shot." And I'm like, "You reckon?" He goes, "Yep." And I'm like, "Okay." And then yeah, like maybe a minute or two, he's walking over the hill, and he's like doing these hand signals, and I'm like, "Fuck's he trying to tell us to start a lawnmower or something?"
Excitement.
Yeah, we give him a
punches.
thumbs up, and he gave us a thumbs up. We're like, well, he must have shot it or shot something. And then, yeah, we walking up there and grab his bag and his boots and all that shit. How'd you go? Yeah. Fuck, he's full, like, got the shakes and stuff. He goes, I've been like this for fucking years.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, man, he's a good buck. Like, did you get that one? Yeah. He goes, I don't know where he ran or whatever. He goes, I felt like a real good shot. We'll see. You know how it is? I'm like, yeah. And anyways, we walk down and he goes, you sitting here, blah, blah, blah. Yep. There's some blood here. And he goes, yeah. I'm like, did you see what weight run? He goes, yeah. He goes, ran straight over there. He goes, but I didn't walk. I walked up over here to come get you guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, righto. So then, yeah, we're walking. I'm like, it's fucking right there. I could just see this antler sticking out of the ground, like out of the grass. And I'm like, stop, give me your phone. I recorded him walking into it and shit. That's the best. I find that's the best reaction when people,
the
the
first
raw,
scene.
like,
Yeah.
fuck, you know. And yeah, and he was over the moon, and I'm just like, dude, he's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Like he had 9. I think he had one guard was 9-inch and one guard was fucking 10-inch or something.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous. And he's like, yeah, I've shot heaps of deer. He goes, like, Fallow, mate, nothing this big.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's proper, man, like, you know. And yeah, I was like, I'll run the tape over. He goes, I don't give a fuck about that. And I'm like, I just want to know.
I just
like,
want to know anyway, yeah.
For the, like, yes, we got a bit of a board here and we write down what get shot sort every
Scores
year
up,
so we
yeah.
can
Keep track.
Yeah, keep track on the good and the bad years and, you know, the sort of the genetic side of it and that stuff. So we went for probably 5 years there where we didn't, when it was the drought there, we didn't really shoot any good deer.
Mm.
Or maybe 1 or 2, but yeah, we just shot for meat really and just let a heap of young ones go to try and grow. It's worked out. Like,
Yeah,
proven
definitely.
it's worked out here. And yeah, so, but yeah, he was over the moon. I'm like, fuck, that's mad. And then, yeah, I was like, right, I said, we were standing where we were sitting. I said to the other Matty, I said, oh yeah, that chocolate one down there. I said, I want to shoot him. I said, I've tried a couple of years ago. I said, he was in the same spot. I said, haven't seen him since. And he's like, yeah, righto. And I said, oh, we'll do a deal. I said, we'll come back. I said, we'll sit up here. I said, if the chocolate comes in, I'll get him. I said, if that other middle one that was on top comes in, I said, you get him. He's like, righto. So then, yeah, the next morning after Matty got his one, we went out. We gave it that afternoon a rest and went out the next morning after we drank a fair bit. Partying.
Yeah,
It
that was
a good
a rough
day when
night.
everyone got back to camp. I think it was
The Cameron boys come in and
Oh,
it just,
yeah.
yeah, all hell broke loose, didn't it?
It was pretty wild. And yeah, so I got up and we went up there and he shot a good boar actually. I'm changing cards over on the cameras and looking down. I'm like, holy shit, look at that ginger boar. And he's like, yeah, he's pretty big, eh? And I'm like, he'd be up there. He'd be fucking 80 to 100 kilos easy. And at the time, we could only see him. And I'm like, he's a boar because he's sitting by himself. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we backed back out and come in. Got the wind was like really, really blowing yesterday, which is a good and bad thing because I find
the
when it's
gullies, it's
windy,
hard. Yeah.
the deer, they're just on edge. Even if you're not you could be on the other ridge watching them and all the does are on edge, like
Just watching
skittish,
them
looking
constantly put their
around.
nose in the
Yeah,
air
they're
and-
just,
yeah.
they're pains in the ass. And yeah, so he got in, and as we're sneaking in, we didn't even see. We got into 5 meters and he's bedded up, ball laying next to a tree. Like
Mm.
we're on the other side of this tree, and the wind was that good and like it blowing that hard. Like we got him that close. He had no idea we were there until Matty started going out for the store, and the wind cut across in front of him, and he just stood up and ran off. And I just looked and just hands up. I'm just like shaking my head, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he's just like same thing, anyways. And he goes in and yeah, gets in. I think he shot it. I don't know if it's 30 or 20 meters, but absolutely smoked this thing, and it ran down and kicked up a stink and like ran down basically like the side of the hill, pretty steep like decline, and yeah, and we come back. Fuck yeah! So we went over. Yep, blood. Followed the blood trail. Yep, I reckon he ran about, I don't know, 30 meters, and then he probably fell about 20 meters down this bloody
Yeah. Oh.
this thing, and there was shit just because you could see it. There was a lot of blood, like smeared on the like rocks and like the ground, like where it's fallen and been like,
Yeah,
like
wow,
rolling,
actually
not
rolling, yeah.
not like up high on the
It's not
bushes.
spray, it's just actually
Yeah, it was like
tumble.
Yeah, and
I only just saw that picture of him last night. He was a fucking cracker.
oh, he's
It was
cracker.
huge, yeah.
yeah, and yeah, we go down, and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck yeah. And I'm like, he's got some good tasks. Anyways, he cleans like the mud and all the shit that he had off it. Both the tips had chips in them,
Yep.
and I'm just like, and he's still a big fucking pig with all them chips. I'm like, I wonder if he done one of them chips was fresh. Like I reckon when he's falling down,
Tumbling,
he's hit
yeah.
some rocks.
Yep.
And yeah, and I'm like, that's one of them's fresh as. He's like, yeah, and I'm like, fuck off. You know, he's got some happy snaps and that, and then back out and around, and I got in same sort of spot where Matty Moore shot his big fella, and I got in, did the similar sort of stalk, and got in, and it was a different chocky fella, but I reckon he was a bit taller,
Yeah.
bit wider, but he didn't have the palms. The other one had like real good palms, but all the edges were like sort of worn off where he's been smashing the bushes and fighting.
Yeah.
And so got in and got to 20, and I'm probably there for about 5 minutes watching. And he was a chocky, and all the does were chocky, and it was in the shade, like real like dark shade, and I'm like trying to work out where he is to where the other, like all the girls are, and they're on edge because it's windy as shit and jumping around and carrying on, and he sort of just like he just pretty much ran them up in a big like ball.
Yeah.
And he's just walking around
Still
the
together.
outside, pushing them all in.
Yep.
And I was watching him, like, right, I said, he's going to go around, and when he comes back up, as he's croaking, I'm going to draw. So he's croaking, I drew back, he's croaking, pushed him up, and then he stopped perfect broadside, and I'm like, boom, let him have it. As I've done that, there must have been a doe that come around the other side, and she's copped the whole bloody arrow, everything. She's run off down the hill in front of me, and I'm like, fuck off. And I'm like, I hope that arrow's gone through him and hit her.
Through her and hit him,
And
or other way.
Through her, through him and hit her, and the other, like she was on the inside of him. I'm like, that makes sense. And no, it wasn't the case. We went over there, I'm like, fucking no blood. I'm like, let's go find this doe. I'm like, the arrow was in, and it went in, and I could see the fletch, and then I could see like the broadhead. Like in that, the carbon part, like half the arrow is still in her. Yeah. She's running off, and I'm like, if the Fletcher's got blood on it, it hit him. If it doesn't have blood on it, she's taking the shot, and I'm going to be spewing. And so we looked around for a bit and went, nah, can't find blood. Walked over, like looked down the hill, like can't see anything on the deck. So, all right, went down and found her, and no blood on the fucking Fletcher.
Yeah,
and I'm
God
like,
damn.
you're kidding. I'm like, fuck's sake. I'm like, oh, well, wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
He'll be there next year in the same area.
Bigger and better. Yep.
Yeah, hopefully bigger and better. So we'll be able to go there and try and get him. And then I think Grant, was he with you yesterday, Arvo?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I found a big chocky fella up here. And that's the one I missed this morning. He's like, oh.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, it was a good deer.
And he goes, yeah, he's proper. I'm like, yeah, I fucking know he was proper. So, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Right on.
Nice shot. Hit target, brother.
Just hit the wood of the target.
Good job.
Well, Camo, thanks for sharing your experiences, bro. It's been a fun week, and obviously it's been a cracker for you. Good year for you.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, it's fucking. I think everyone that's been is.
Oh, it's always an exciting time.
Everyone that's been is shot something or been with someone when they've shot something. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good time of the year.
Yeah, it is.
To get
I think that's the excitement. Like, obviously, when I shot one morning one, day one, then I'm just like, well, you gotta make sure everyone's got a deer. Like, I'm like, Grant, your turn. I'm like, Corey, your turn. Like, I don't care. You take the stalk. I don't care.
Yeah. That's
you
like,
you want everyone to have that excitement.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I've shot what did I shoot? Two pretty like half-handy deer, half-handy bucks. Hit that one in I think it was no man's land, just shit shot, and then that one yesterday. So and then the other one I could have realistically had 5 good
bucks,
good bucks on the ground.
I shot over and under a deer, 2 different deer yesterday, so I could have had 3.
Yeah, so I mean, like the opportunities there.
Yeah.
And
but then also it's those little fucking learnings that you get every single time. It's that reminder. You're like, okay.
Yeah. I did this.
You have to do literally 100% right every time.
You have to do 100% right, and they have to get at least 90% wrong.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah, it's interesting.
So
anyway, bro, thank you.
No worries, thank you.
Corey, my friend.
Hello.
See you, bro.
See you, Cambo.
One of the all-time favourites of the podcast, mate. Everyone loved that one we did about Bulgaria.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are. I think it's very admirable what you've gone through this, right? Because you've targeted one.
Yep.
And it just hasn't worked out.
No.
There's a fucking shit fight.
Yeah.
It punches you in the guts.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like if you never give it a go, you never know.
Yeah, that's right. I only really had 3 days this weekend. Last weekend I was hunting with other boys that never sort of hunted a rut before.
Yeah.
And this weekend
They never hunted at all, had they?
no, they've hunted their rifle toting.
Yeah. Okay.
Be polite. I won't
swear like the last one.
I think that's what people loved about
Rifle toting fuckers. No, they're good dudes. They, my mate Ryan, he's just picked up a stick bow and now he's
Going straight for
head
the
over
hard
heels.
stuff.
Yeah, head over heels.
Yeah.
He loves it. He had a compound years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Never really did much with it. Ended up selling it, and then yeah, he's just the fellas that we work with out there at the mines. He's anyway, he's got into stick bow hunting, and I thought, what better time to get him opportunity to have a deer.
Then in the rut.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So last week, just right as it started, early, and yeah, we had multiple opportunities, but yeah, struggle stick, lost that round.
Yeah.
Like we had deer coming in 15, deer coming in 7, stopping right in front of him, but
No way.
just wasn't meant to be. He's got to do a bit more practicing.
Yeah, okay. What, shooting over and under and stuff? Or
Yeah, one he just didn't draw pack properly, and it was like a little limp dick. Poof, like, one he didn't shoot at all, so it pulled up at 15 right in front of him.
you're just scared about it? Like,
Oh, he
didn't
just
when
didn't know
pull?
what to do, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was partly my fault. I half explained the situation to him. So
Yeah.
I told him what they were going to do.
Yeah.
They didn't believe me. The boys had never seen a deer come in like they did
Yeah, well, they
last
did.
weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were playing with the rattles last weekend. Actually, more croaking than anything.
So you'd croak as you'd see him on the hill,
Mm.
give him a little croak, and
Yep.
then watch him come in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even like the slutty doe call.
Yeah.
They were loving it.
Give us that one.
They come screaming in the boys. They yeah, so and then Brock, he's one of my closest mates, old Brock. He's a rifle toting fucker as well, and he's like just desperate to get out hunting. Like
Yeah.
he loves it, and out here we very staunch on the bow only.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially this time of year.
Oh, 100%.
So anyway, I got a struggle stick now too. So I went
Yeah.
out with Boyle with the struggle sticks, and I gave Brock my compound.
Yeah.
And first morning he smokes a big titty sow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mate, he left going, where do I get a bow? I got to go. He's got
How
that
good
bug.
he's
Yeah,
got it,
he
yeah.
loves it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Consumes you.
it does. Yeah,
Yeah.
he loves it. He loved it. So he's looking at getting a bow now, just getting funding right and go and get a bow. So if anyone's listening to this and they have like a 70-pound, 29-inch draw bow for sale,
Yeah.
hit me up. I'll hit Matty up.
Hit me up and I'll send you Corey's number.
Yep. Yeah, so that was last weekend. We did a lot of walking and the boys got to experience it. They left chuffed as. They were like, so both of them shot pigs. None of them got an arrow and a deer, which they had opportunities, but
Also, for the very first weekend hunting.
oh
that'll
man,
be
you know
an
what it's like when you
experience,
have something come running in and your heart's racing.
Oh,
and-
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so that was last weekend. So we did Mad Dash Friday morning last weekend. We got up here for a morning hunt Friday. We hunted Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then came home Sunday. I went to work. I had a sickie on Monday. I went to work on Tuesday, and then I was back out here on Friday, and I just had one. So actually, the story of this fella that I chased, I caught up to him by accident. I rattled in a young spiker for Ryan, and I could just hear this fella croaking, man. And
Yeah.
you know by the croaks.
Yeah, a little bit deeper, a little bit, yeah.
And I got into 100 meters of this fella, and man, he just lit me up like, oh fuck, I've got to get this deer. And but I was still hunting with the boys, so I didn't want them to accidentally shoot my guys. So then we walk away. I actually try to have a poke. So I said, hey, just sit back here, fellas. I'm going to try and have a poke at this guy. But he had maybe 50 girls around him.
Yeah,
He had
far out.
satellite bucks. It was like it's like a lek up
Proper
there. So
lek, yeah.
Mate, he was right in the middle of it, just being the boss, just running the fellas off his scrape.
Yep.
And I got to 80 meters the first morning, and I just couldn't close the gap any further. And then I bailed out and went hunting. We just said, I will leave him here. I'm here next weekend. So
Yep.
went poke again for the boys. And we had multiple opportunities. Anyway, they had a good time. So I hunted that fella again the next morning, and I closed the gap. So every morning I get on him because he's right in the middle of an open. We'll call it like a bench on a hill.
Mm.
With only like 3 or 4 trees to sort of try and use as cover and get into him, and he's got so many eyes. So every morning I came in from the left out of a creek. I came from down below straight under with the wind. Like I tried all different angles. So 3 mornings, 3 failed attempts, but got closer every morning.
Yeah.
And then anyway, this weekend I tried him again first morning. So I got up here on Friday. I got up here Thursday night.
Yep.
Hunt Friday morning with a bit of first night fever, so I was a little bit hungover walking up the hills on Friday. And then
Hungover on Saturday.
and Saturday. We got to ban ourselves from the fire out here. Anyway, so I got into him. I actually got really close, but so I just sat and waited the first morning, and but I ended up. So they blow out like they did naturally. Like I didn't go into the lek this time. I just wanted to sit back and see where he was going.
Yep.
Anyway, I followed him. He came actually down the hill, and they bedded up in the dogwood trees on the bottom of the bench. And both him and there's a big chocolate clefty fella and like a solid mid-howl fella all sort of handling that scrape together.
Yep.
And they were all in different spots of the dogwood trees, croaking and having a sleep, standing up like they do. And I actually got to 30 meters of him, but I drew back twice at 30 meters, but I just could not get a shooting lane.
Yep.
So I didn't want to kook the shot. So I just came back out of that, left him in the dogwoods, and then I came back out early. I packed a bag to do a full day hunt.
Yeah.
And because I seen where he bedded, I went, no,
No point.
I'm going to leave him.
Yeah.
He was right in the thick. I blew the mid-howl fella out by accident.
Because of wind? Or...
No, because I walked to get to my guy. I saw where he went. I was walking into my guy.
Yep.
And I actually walked past the mid-howl fella.
Yep.
So, and he was a respectable shooter too. In all of this too, every spot I sat, every single time I had multiple opportunities at different deer.
Yep.
I have photos of deer at 5 meters, 3 meters, 15 meters, 20 meters. And this mid-howl fella, I had him at 20 meters on the second day that I hunted with Brock and Ryan. And I was like, no, I want to shoot that fella. So
you just leave it, yep.
I had the goal of that one buck thing. I've never done it before. I've always just sort of rattled in or go for a walk and see something. Oh yeah, that's good. Go and shoot.
Yep.
This time, because this guy's like, actually, this is like 5 years in a row that I've hunted this deer.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah, so Cambo and I hunted him for 2 years. I hunted him by myself. Grant and I hunted him. Grant and another fella's hunted him. Harry's young fella, Charlie. And no one's been able to shoot this
actually
deer.
get to him.
Yeah. So he's getting bigger, so it's not an issue. But
so it's 30 meters the closer you got to him then?
So in that dogwood, so I can't really count. Well, I got into him, but I had no shot opportunity.
No, yeah.
50 meters is the closest I got. I actually drew back, and I was going to have a 50-meter shot at him.
Yep.
And so I did that day. Came back a little bit deflated.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked Grant to give me a hand.
Yep.
I said, mate, I just need some outside eyes to come and
have a crack.
Tell me how you would attack it. And I had a game plan. I was going to push up the creek and come on the high side of him. And we actually had a really swirly, windy day that morning.
Yep.
And so I asked Grant to come. He come. We both put our heads together and come to the agreement. Walk up the creek, push up higher, and send it in on him. And we come up the creek. It's a bit noisy. And then we heard him croaking. Right, he's there every morning.
Yep.
He's there every morning. And then we got into 50. Well, so we were about 75 when maybe 80 meters when we spotted him. Randy said, "Get up to that tree and fucking soot in there." So I sooted in there, and I probably blew about 5 deer off the lek.
Yep.
But he stayed.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
he was just busy on girls.
He had 2 girls that stayed and a little spiker that was trying to get on his scrape.
Yep.
Anyway, so I was at the tree, but the girls were onto me because it blew half the mob off, right?
Yeah.
And then the 2 girls ran. He actually sprinted off, rounded them back to the scrape, put him back there. And he was like right there, and it was 49 meters. And I just practiced the day before because 40 meters is sort of like a max shot for me.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really comfortable at 40.
Yep.
So I actually set myself up when I had that tanty the first morning, came back here and shot like 17, 20 arrows at 50 meters.
Yep.
And they're all very tight. So I was confident at 50. And then, we just when I drew back, wind was sweet. He was there, fucking drew back it, but there's a real big log where he's been bashing.
Yep.
So there's like a log with multiple different leafless branches on the floor. And right where his wilders would be, right where I'd want to hit, there was a big log right in the way. So I just drew down and let him do his thing.
Yep.
And then we went for an arvo hunt, me and Randy.
That was good fun.
Yeah, I shot that little spiker, little fawn spiker for the spit for Easter next weekend.
Yep. We
That was pretty
we
cool.
sat up on the hill for that fox. We saw him.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
We started just to croaking as we were coming up the hill, and he's come out to check what we were.
Yep.
Seeing us walking, but then we were like, let's see if we can call him in.
Yeah, we'll give him the slutty fox whistle and all of that too, and
We gave him everything.
everything. eh?
Everything but the black wang.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. No black wang. But yeah, he came in, but
He knew something was
yeah,
up.
he knew something was up. I think
He got to 40
yeah,
or thereabouts.
yeah, 35. I had a pot shot, had me shot straight out. Well, it was close.
No, you shot
actually.
at 40 and you went over, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
it
right.
was closer, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just over his back.
That was good fun.
That was fun. Foxes
That
are
little
fun.
afternoon hunt was fun because we went up to that lek.
Yep.
You're just, I mean, we had a few beers, so you
Yeah.
were probably a bit just too eager.
Yeah,
You're like, just follow me.
yeah,
Just
we-
straight up. I'm like, oh, every girl's looking at us. You're
yeah.
like, it's all right.
Ah, fuck it.
We just need 2 to stay.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
right 2, though.
And then you go, that's how you blow a lek out. And I'm walking out and I go, I probably had too many beers for this. But I had that little fella come in and shot him front on. And then yesterday hunted old mate morning and afternoon and still no joy on him. And now I'm packing camp up and going home like a sook. Yeah, I had a tansy.
You
I was
were a bit-
tired.
a bit
I
up
was
a bit,
fucked tired.
yeah.
I was going to drive home.
It had 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were ready to go.
Yeah.
And then realised that everyone's meat was in your cold room. You couldn't take it.
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, fuck, I'll stay
That's
by
probably,
the couch."
like Matt Harry said this morning, probably a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because
Yeah.
you sat down and you were asleep within like 2 seconds
Yeah.
on the couch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was lucky.
Yeah. Nah, but it's good. Deer camp's more about, well, it is about shooting deer, but it's more to it than just shooting
Oh,
deer.
definitely.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's admirable for you. Admirable for you to actually sit and have the discipline.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't need to shoot everything else. This is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just have
Yeah.
to come back post right when he's sleeping.
Yeah, I'm going to come back in a couple of weeks. I need summers to put new strings on my bow, but I'm going to I'll come back here in a couple of weeks and see if I can't have another crack at him.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah, because I was going to take your bow back with me, but now,
yeah, I've decided to keep it and come back up here.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then
that's a good decision.
we'll see what happens. I'll let you know if I shoot him or not.
Yeah, good.
And if I don't shoot him this time, I'll get him next
Next year, yeah.
I just don't know if I'll stick to the one deer thing, but next,
Next year.
Nah, I don't know.
I
We'll
think it's
see.
good to do it at least once, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I've
Yeah.
never had a buck like that where I've like, fuck.
Fully gravitate
Yeah,
to
like
it.
he's massive, man. Like he's the biggest thing I've ever seen.
Yep.
And well, I've seen dead things that are bigger than him, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
the biggest thing I've seen alive.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I think Randy put eyes on him too, and he knows him pretty well, and he reckons it'd be that 240 number 2. So
Yeah, awesome. Proper big one for
Yeah.
out here. Yeah.
and it's just beautiful, like even fucking everything's like he's solid, thick, even.
Yeah.
So and
Randy actually got into one yesterday afternoon, and he reckoned it might have been like Matty Moore's or bigger.
Yep.
It was proper.
yeah, they're out here.
Yeah, they are.
That's bloody awesome property.
And they always put themselves in the thickest,
I don't know
right?
if anyone said that yet, but everyone here has shot something over 200 or right on 200.
Yeah, I
That
think
was
190. What is
196
greatest?
or
196 something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right there. Yeah, and then really Harry should have been a 230, 240 model, right?
Yeah, and once I'd give them, It doesn't really matter, eh?
It doesn't.
They're gnarly
It's still a
looking fucking
great deer.
things,
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because Harry shoots this deer and he sends us a photo, and he goes, buck down first, sends us a photo of the nuts like the tradition, and then I go, how'd you go? And he goes, he's no world beater, and he sends me a photo of his hand, and the fucking palms on the deer are twice the size of his hand. Oh, no world beater. Fucking sport cunt. But yeah, no, it's good out here.
It is. It's always good fun. I think the banter in camp is better.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You walk away with the full heart and the full cup. It's
Yeah,
good.
fucking oath.
Yeah.
Oh, it's important.
It is. When I was
Yeah.
saying that to you, I didn't go hunting for probably 6 or 7 months,
Yep.
and I just felt every bit of it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, towards the end, I was just getting so angry.
I've only hunted 3 times since Bulgaria, and I was fucking like, I don't get depression or anything like that, but it's like there's something missing,
Just-
right?
Yeah, picture chat.
And then the missus is constantly going, "What's fucking wrong with you?" I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't fucking know. If I knew, I'd fix it, you fucker. And then we just did like a little poke out here, and it was like just a 2-day mission. I was come back and I was like, "Fuck!" And that's what's wrong
That's
with
what it
me. I
was.
need to get back in
Yeah.
the hills more. I've gone from hunting once a month
Yeah.
for like 6 years
Yep.
to no hunting in like 9 months.
Yeah, that's
And if
crazy.
you're just concentrating on work, I'm trying to build my farm, so I'm constantly busy. You just got to make time, go and fucking hunt.
You do. Yeah.
Even my mate Brock, who come out, He's like, he's a happy dude. He lives on the south coast. He's got a beautiful kid, beautiful missus, and his missus called me the other day and said, "Oh, you know, we got to have a chat to Brock. There's something amiss." We went down to Victoria hunting, trying to shoot a sand deer, and you know the hunting depression.
Depression, yeah.
And I've touched on it before, I think, with you, but it's a fucking proper thing. Because 2 weeks after we went away hunting. You go back into the fucking
The real
swing,
world.
and you start going, fuck this, like it hits hard. And then I said, so I just booked another hunting trip with him.
Yeah, he's done.
This is what we do.
Get something to look forward to.
Yeah, and so you end up coming out here, and we'll see. Maybe we'll have to do it again another 2 weeks. I'll be out here in another 2 weeks. See
who's gonna come.
Yeah, I'll bring my boys out. This is what so my young fella's been nagging me.
Yeah,
nagging me. They've both got camo for their birthdays, and they're nagging me to come hunting.
I'm so excited about it.
And I got the struggle stick. So Harry's got a little struggle stick too. Aussie doesn't have a bow yet, but we'll have to sort something out. But he flicks these little darts as well.
Will Aussie be big enough to walk around, or you have to carry
Aussie
him?
will be in a pack and Harry will be walking.
Yep.
Yeah. He'll walk a little bit. He's a unit, He's just a dude. Like if I say we're going
walking,
I just won't do big walks, Like
exactly. A couple
I'll
hundred
drive,
meters here and there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'll drive, put him in the car, and then I'll have to carry both of them probably up the hill.
Yep.
So that'll be a bit of a pain in the butt. But
when the Cameron boys here the other day, Luke was saying he's trying to get his sons into it, but he's like, the weather here is just so harsh. It's like he's in 45-degree sort of every day hunting out in the flats. He's like,
but this is normal. Their weather.
Like in Northern Territory, he's like, you can't just take a kid out in that for very long.
No,
he's like, you have to do a 100-meter dash, and then you're done.
And then here is the hills. So
yeah, exactly.
Like when Benny and I shot that deer last year, remember? We carried the boys up, and then we carried a deer back, and we had to like lug the boys down as well. So I had a blown ACL, and he had something wrong with his knee or something. It was fucking cool, but they're nagging me, so I'll probably bring them out here in 2 weeks. Get them up the hill.
Yeah.
See if we can't shoot some pigs or something. Go and chase some goats or something.
Yeah, get the little stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we'll
give them the memories.
Well, they love it.
Like it's something that I want to do more of with my girls, getting them out, but even just taking them out camping and stuff.
Yeah,
I felt a bit guilty the other day. I was like, heck, I really haven't done heaps with we do heaps, like we're always together
all day.
Yeah, but then like we do stuff on the weekend. I'm like, no, we need to get out and explore and do that adventure stuff a bit more. The stuff that they actually remember. Yeah. Like those experiences where they go, oh, it wasn't just everyday life.
Yeah, that's right. Like we were talking about selling our camper trailer.
Yeah.
Because we live on the farm now. People come to our place to camp.
To camp, yeah, exactly.
So, but I said to Rebecca, Harry is in the back. Like the kids listen to everything. Yeah, everything you say. That's why Aussie gets in trouble at school calling kids dickheads because his dad's a fuckwit. But Harry goes, don't sell the camper trailer. Where are we going to camp? And then I look at him like, we don't camp. He goes, yeah, we went camping down to that spot on the lake. And I'm like,
he like literally sticks in their head. Yeah, it's like the experience is what they actually truly believe.
We're not going to get rid of the camper trailer.
Yep. Yeah, we were thinking about selling ours, but then purely doing it so you can just, like we were going to essentially sell it, get $5,000, $7,000, whatever we can for it.
So upgrade it to something else.
Either upgrade it or just use that to rent then. And so rent and see what we like and try a few different ones. Yeah.
I have a friend, Tim and Sarah, they come to our place camping as well, but they don't own a camper trailer, just hire one.
Hire them, yeah.
And I have a different one.
Every time.
Yeah, and it's like, one day they'll go, all right, that's the one we're going to buy. You don't know. So but they just come with these flush camper trailers. And it's like $300 for the weekend or something.
It's so good. Yeah, exactly.
But
I'm like, heck, if we can sell it for $5,000, that's what's that? It's like 15. No, a lot. I can't do maths right now.
You could probably get
you get it.
20 trips out.
20 trips out of it at least. Yeah.
We got these foxes that have been harassing our chickens at home. Yeah. And I go, Harry, we're going to get the bow with the gun. Yeah. And Harry's mad for it. I'm like, can you hear the fox barking? You hear the fox? Yeah. We want to get the bow with the gun. And so at first he's saying the gun. Yeah. And then with the struggle sticks, he's like, oh, we'll get the bows, get the bows. Get the bows. He's got a little blunt on his arrow trying to shoot the fox. He's got no chance because he's at like 7 meters. He falls short like 3 meters. But he'll flick the dart at him.
Yeah, have fun
he
with
loves it. Yeah.
Well, so you squawk him in or something? Or
no, so they come to the chickens.
So
the chicken starts crowing. If I'm not at work, the chickens will be crowing like they do every day. And then the fox comes in like clockwork. Yeah, yeah. So I've been at work. The neighbour's been sitting out for us to shoot it with the gun. Yep. Because we lost. So we had like 27 chickens or something. We were down to like 13 chickens.
Far out.
Yeah. And we had 4 ducks, and the ducks all got eaten. Like it was a bit of a shit show. Yeah. And I never had a gun before, so I went and got a gun. Yep. And but I'm way more lethal than a bow with a gun. I fucking miss everything I try to shoot with a gun. But yeah, so we try to get this fox to come in. We try to get this fox to come in and shoot him with a bow. We haven't got him yet, but he's a big fucking big dog. Yeah.
Well, he's just eating
Yeah.
27 chickens.
And then the bastard, so he'll kill 3. So we
They just joy kill him, right? They bury him or something, don't they?
I don't know, but he dragged them. He dragged 3 chickens off in his mouth.
Yeah.
And run down the paddock, lose one because I'm trying to fling darts up his ass. And then I'll go back and say, all right, well, I'll sit off this chicken because surely he'll come back. And then fucking just leaves it there. Yeah.
He knows the risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I'll tell you a little gun story. Grant come up here. We were going to shoot a deer.
Yeah.
With me. I'm useless with a rifle.
Yeah.
Like, fucking proper useless. And Grant's a pretty good shot normally. This one night, he had 3 shots at deer and missed them.
Yeah.
Right? Fucking 3 shots, all within 100 meters. Missed them. Fucking something wrong with this gun. And we were driving out, and there's this big fox. Give me that gun. And I fucking shoot and kill this fox with his gun.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next morning, he puts a barrel out with a bit of tape at 100 meters, and he shoots, and it's shooting like 8 inches to the right. And I killed this fox. That's how good a shot I am. I can aim at 8 inches to the right.
You just need to sight your gun into that.
Yeah, that's it.
8 inches to the right, and you'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually watching the trigger pull on my rifle the other day just to see what would happen when you free pull it. And if you don't have tension this way and you pull the trigger that way, it's crazy how much it pulls to the side.
So
that's why, why 8 inches would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Because
I
you
didn't
pull
think
straight
of that.
onto it. Yeah.
I've never had 8 inches in my life. Perfect. It would be.
What about the big old brown member? I saw that.
Oh,
that was 8 inches for you.
Probably is 8 inches. 2 inches thick too.
Well, dude,
Oh.
it's always a bloody pleasure.
Bloody oath,
Thank
mate.
you, my friend.
No worries.
All right, I'm just driving home from this hunt down at Grant's place, and it was fucking incredible. I just thought I'd give a little recap on my little hunt and my buck that I got down, which I'm very chuffed with. And then a few of the other stories of things that happened over the weekend, just to kind of complete this podcast out of a mixture of pretty much just a rut and the different stories from the different groups, the different guys in camp. I think there was there was a lot of success, which is really cool to see. It's kind of joint frothing happening when everyone is getting to enjoy the action and get bucks down. And I mean, it's my first fallow rut where I got to actually witness it in the full height, and it's just crazy to see how hectic they get. And the boys, like, there's no rhyme or reason to them apart from girls, right? And they're just so erratic with what they do, where they go, how they run around. They'll be in one spot for a minute, and then all of a sudden they're gone, and they'll go 50 meters, 100 meters, and then they'll come back, and it's just chaos. And it's a lot of fun, and I can see why the fallow bucks are so addictive at this time of year. And yeah, bow hunting in general, why it's so addictive as well. So for my stalk, me and Cam went out day one, morning one, and went up to a place where he had been seeing a fair few. It was actually where he shot his buck, and close to where Braden had shot his buck as well. And they'd kind of given this space a rest, I think, for a good 24 hours. Probably more than 48 hours. And so it was a good chance to kind of get back and have a crack at this bench, because they had seen a lot of success there before. And so, I mean, in the morning, you kind of heard it just when I was interviewing Cam in general. But when we came up the hill, like even when we were driving out there, Cam was telling me how he just hasn't had much luck on the peaks there, the boars there at all. And we saw a monster, like he would have, I don't know, a monster in regards to how big his hooks were. He was a small boar, like he was on the way back down, which meant, I don't know, maybe he hit his peak, maybe he hadn't, I don't know, but he was a small body, which to me makes me say, okay, yeah, he's definitely not losing his growing potential, but he's old, essentially. Driving and podcasting is also a little bit hard, just overtaking someone, so thoughts were in other places. And this boar came in, and he just kept walking into him, and he came about 12 meters, and poor old Cam shot and didn't see the little sapling or branch that was in front of him, and shot straight off into the air, unfortunately. And that boy was never to be seen again. But yeah, so we got up on top, and we saw this buck who was a pretty good buck up on top of this bench. Had lots of girls around him, had a few spikers around him. And essentially we were probably 200 meters off of him. There was bushes that we used to block our way a little bit, but it's kind of like there was a lot of fallen timber on this one bench, and then there was a few little shrubs and stuff. So I was able to use the bushes to get down a fair way on foot. And then for the rest of the way, I was going to have to slide my way on my bum. And there was a fair bit of shade around because of the mountain casting the shadow based on where the sun was over the mountain. But there was still a fair bit of also sunlight. And so I got down as far as I could and then hopped on my bum. It was just kind of bum shuffling down, doing a little crawl whenever I could. And there was girls looking up my way, but not super, like they're just eating, feeding, and having to look up every once in a while. So I was using the shadows then as much as I could, meaning bum sliding down in between all this long grass-ish, like you couldn't sit upright without being seen. So just had to kind of make my way down. And then this buck was coming up, and he would run between there was a scrape, and then there was the deadfall logs that were down, and probably 3 sets of deadfall logs that were down. And he was kind of running between those 3 deadfall logs and the scrape, and meanwhile just check out all the girls. Every time the spiky would come in, he would chase him off. But the spiky was very interested in one of the girls, so he would come in, the buck would chase him off, he would walk around and do something, and then the spiky would go back to the girl, and it was just like this constant show, a little circus going on. And so I was bum shuffling down, but every time that happened, it gave me a chance to get further down, because he would change the girls from kind of looking up the hill to looking down the hill, or just move them off. And I shuffled down, thought I was going to get a shot, but it was a bit long. It was kind of 50 meters, and he was out in the open. I was like, I just want to get closer. Like, I really want to make sure of this one. So I got, the spiky came in once again. He ran him down the hill a bit. So it gave me a chance to actually hop up and crawl a lot faster across. It was a pretty big stretch. It's probably 30 meters of sunlight under this tree. So I got there, and I had kind of a dead log that was covering their eyes from where I was. So I started bum shuffling out. And once again, this is in the open sunlight. So I was aware that it could get me caught. But at the same time, I thought I was going to be pretty much in the clear to be able to get across. So I'm going slowly but smoothly. And yeah, sure enough, the buck just kept doing his thing. The spiky kept doing his thing. But to the extent where he ended up running them from the middle of the bench all the way down to the bottom of this bench. And so by this time, I'd gotten to that deadfall log where they mainly were. And it allowed me to be able to hop up and actually put a proper run down the hill, probably another 50 meters or so. So I'd bum slid probably 150 meters, hop back up and ran another 50 meters down to this log. And as I was getting down there, the girls actually they knew something was there. They were looking through the gaps of the deadfall, but it wasn't enough for them to be too worried, because the buck came up and got in amongst them and kind of stirred them off a little bit. So I was able to get to this log, and at this point I was at 40 meters off of them. So I got in front of the log by sliding around it. I was in the shadows of this log. I just drove past a turtle on the road. And it doesn't look like there's much water close by. But yeah, so on this log, I'm sitting there, and I've got an arrow on. The closest girl was at 40. The buck at this point is just over the edge a little bit. He's probably at 50 meters, and he's just kind of, he was actually just there croaking his head off at that point in time. And then next minute, the wind blows on the back of my neck and takes all these deer straight off down the hill. I just kind of was pissed off because it was such a good stalk. I'd got in so close, and I'd been blowing the joys of bow hunting, right? So I was sitting there, and I was just like, I should really hop up and just go get Cam and tell him what happened. And I was like, just sit here for a second, like, catch your thoughts, get back in the game, and then you can go up and get Cam. I'm sure he's watching anyway, so he might be on his way down. Next minute, I see the tips of his antlers coming back up the hill. I'm like, oh, no way. And sure enough, this buck comes up, and he's sniffing all around. He's going chaotic. He runs up. I'm like, I'm going to get a chance here. So he runs up, and there's a log another 20 meters on from me, 30 meters on from me. He's down that log, and he's coming around it. I'm like, once he gets around this log, like, I've got pretty clear shot. And he was running straight up to me to get to the scrape. And so I pulled him up at 10 meters and shot him in a frontal shot. And because he reacted to the shot, he dropped and it spined him as it went through the frontal shot. So he was just down and out. And so like literally dropped on the spot. It was probably not the ideal frontal shot that you want, but it did the absolute job of it. And yeah, he just bled out on the spot right there. And then I crawled down to him and just said my thanks and was with him as he just gave his last little passing breath. It was a pretty spectacular little moment. And yeah, he was just incredible. Very, very, he's got a lot of characteristics, this buck, and has like big old curling, especially on one side, curls in a lot more than the other, and there's massive guard tines on him. Just an absolutely beautiful creature. So yeah, I was sitting there for a while, just kind of taking him in, and then I was like, well, I should go get Cam because he doesn't seem to be, I don't think he was watching it at all. So went up the hill whistling at Cam and trying to get him in. And yeah, he actually couldn't see at all where he was. He thought I was still up a lot higher than what I actually was. But I literally got to the very bottom of that bench when it all went down. So he got Cam, we went down, and he's like, oh, what are we doing? I'm like, I'm going to butcher him. I'm going to take his meat, get everything off of him that I can. But then I was looking at him like, you know what? He's actually got a great cape. Like, let's do a proper job. I'm going to cape him out, not for a mount, but just so I can get a rug. Plus, I'll do a euro of his head, and let's get all the meat. And so we start doing it and butchering, like cape him out a little bit. And then we hear this buck, and he's literally just at the bottom of the hill, croaking and going crazy. Sorry, I'll reverse a little bit. We get the knives out. We're getting ready to go. And Cam's like, dude, get your boat, quick, quick, quick. We look up the hill, and there's this incredible metal buck just running along the top. Like, he's just walking along the top. Along this, he's going to come in, he checks the scrapes, and he's going to keep walking along, is all we can gauge. He's like, get up that hill as fast as you can. So I sprint up and try to catch him, cut him off on the diagonal. I actually thought he was going to come to the scrape, but he did not touch it, unfortunately, because if he went there, I would have had a direct shot and it would have been game over, hopefully. But he ended up going up the hill, and so I ran up and I got to 40 meters on him. And then I think I kicked a rock or something. So he's turned back and he's like, something's up. He wasn't super clued on, but he knew there was something wrong. And so then he went up and just kept following this fence line. So I got onto the fence line, started coming up, and then that's right where Cam was sitting. So he's walked up right into Cam's scent, smelled it and gone, nope, I'm out of here. And he's jumped the fence and run up the hill. So he was never to be seen again, but it was also a very great buck. So I'll come back down to Cam. We're getting the knives and everything ready, and then that's when we heard the buck down the hill going. I look over the edge, and I go, no, wait, that's the actual buck that I was stalking. I thought it was this guy. I thought he'd like run down the hill and decided he'd need to come back up because they looked very, very similar. But the one that I originally slid down on to try and make my stalk on he had a fair bit of tinge of grey to him. And so I didn't realize till I had my eyes back on him. I'm like, no, wait, that's the actual buck that I stalked in on. And this must have just been like a satellite or something coming up to see what was going on. So it was very interesting to kind of have that little thing happen. And I was like, Cam, why don't you go have a stalk? And I was like, no, let's just get your deer sorted. So we got him all set and ready. And on the way out, we're like, we'll go for a walk and see if we can find the other one, which we couldn't. It was getting pretty late in the morning by this time. So we just decided, because we didn't have phone reception, we were trying to check where the other boys were and what they had happen in the morning. And so we went down and got to the car and ended up going and getting the boys because they were kind of in the depths of the block and need some help. So we went and got them out of there. But yeah, that was a pretty special moment to get a PB buck down on the ground. I mean, just being out there for this rut was absolutely incredible. And really, I had 3 stalks on deer. I guess you could call that running up the hill at one kind of one, but not to the extent that the other 2 went down. So the other 2 situations, one of them I slid on my ass for ages. Like it was me and Harry were out hunting together, and we just had the wind not play the game at all morning. And we're walking down the car, and then we heard this buck croak at it must have been 10:30, 11 o'clock. So we found where he was, and there was between us and them at the 70 meters. I had to get to this dead log, which was 40 meters. And then I wanted to get closer because we had one tree that he was sitting behind. So I was like, I can use that tree to get to my advantage to get down. And so, he was actually, you could tell he was very tired, croaking, standing up and like falling asleep on the spot. And so I start stalking in, start sliding on my bum, getting in nice and close. And then I realize there's a girl just at the log, which is under the tree, and she's facing back up the hill at me. So I couldn't really go too far that way. And then this other doe that was with him started feeding just below. So I was really quite restricted with where I could move and when I could move. So I start sliding, and I put my knee on this straw stick. I didn't know it was there. It was just kind of sliding, as I said, but just didn't really, I think, pay attention enough to what was underneath me as I was going. And so I put my knee on this straw, and there's big old click, big old snap. And so the doe that was facing up the hill, she had her ears alert the whole time, and she stood up straight away and she's looking. Then another doe's come down behind the tree and she's looking at me. I'm like, oh no, I'm done here. So I just laid down. I'm like, I'm just going to have to lay for a while. And I'm laying there. I was in an awkward position, just holding it for, it must have been a good 20 minutes or so. And then I thought I heard Harry whistle. And I'm like, and so I glassed them, and they were both, one had gone back to bed. The other one, she was looking up at me still. The one that was down the hill, she was looking up at me still, but not actually looking for me. She was very relaxed, just kind of looking around in general, as they do. And so I was able to move out of her line of sight, and much to my pleasure, the girl up the top that was facing me was now facing down the hill instead. So it gave me a little bit more wriggle movement up there, but I couldn't actually go too far up because there was another doe that I hadn't seen yet that was then within line, like eyesight of where I was essentially if I'd gone too far. So I pretty much snuck into the tree as close as I could get while still seeing the buck without the girl seeing me too much. And so I hopped up and I ranged the tree that was like, it was essentially the branch of the tree that came down over the top of him. I ranged that, and I was like, okay, that's where that's the distance. We're good. Cause it was at the end of that. And so I drew back while I was kneeling down. I stood up. He actually woke up at this point in time, and he stretched his neck right up. And so it gave me like a perfect shot at him. So he's still laying down, but with his neck stretched up. So it would have been kind of like a little bit of a frontal / quartering on. And it was at 30 meters. I'm like, great, this is good. I'm confident with this shot. So I drew back, stood up, took my shot, and the damn arrow hit like low in front of him. So it was actually probably, I don't know, maybe he must have been almost 40 meters, to be honest. And I just misranged the positioning of where it was. And it just, it was a big punch in the nuts, to be honest, in the sense of like putting on such a good stalk, almost being busted, but then the girl's going back to normal, and then taking the shot, and then just watching the arrow hit the ground, then skyrocket, like hit and just bounced up in the air straight over the top of him. They were just never to be seen again. But then same thing happened where a satellite buck all of a sudden started coming across. I was like, no way. So I put another arrow on and ran down, but couldn't get to him. And before he actually saw them all take off and ran down after them instead. So that was the mistake. And the mistake is, in that sense, it was not what happened. I was talking to Harry about this afterwards. I was afraid to stand up because essentially I had doe's eyes everywhere, and the buck, because he had just woken up, I was like, well, if I stand up, I've only got one chance. But really, I stood up with a drawn bow and nothing looked at me. So I should have taken the time to stand up, range him directly, get my actual measurement correct, and then sit back down to draw back so it wasn't a lot of movement, and then stand back up to take my shot. But that is just one of the lessons of bow hunting. And then, yeah, that was in the morning yesterday. And then in the afternoon, I went out with Grant and we got on to another, we found another one on a scrape, and we saw him. We didn't see any of the girls. And so as I started stalking in, one of the girls actually started feeding straight up to me as soon as I started walking. So she picked me out and ran off and took 3-4 of the girls with her. And then there was still 2 more does on there. And the one that was there was obviously the one that he was most interested in, because he stayed around. And there was a bit of a kerfuffle that happened in regards to some kangaroos down the hill that moved as well. And so that kind of took their attention away. And then she was still looking, but not enough to make her go, we have to run away. despite the other girls moving off. So she hadn't actually seen me. So I'm up against this tree at this point in time. And I ranged where it was at, and it was at 57 meters. And then there was no shot. I wasn't going to take the shot at that point. But where she was roughly at 40. So I was like, okay, he's going to come down to her and I'm going to get a good shot. So I ranged I ranged her, but then I feel like I actually ranged her before she moved to that little position because they moved around and stuff. And so he moved down. It was very just like quick. Essentially, I rushed it once again without having a proper range on where he had moved to. I shot at 40 and went straight over his back. So I shot under a buck. It was a good buck. I shot over a buck. That was a good buck. And it's just that constant reminder of use your tools that you've got and know that you've got time. I mean, sometimes, and this is the obviously the hard part, is at this point in time, they are very hectic with their motions and what they do, right? They don't necessarily stand in one spot for a long time. Especially if the girls are aware. It's one wrong mistake is when everything runs away. And so I let the pressure get to me once again, and because of it, cost me $2 essentially. So it's just that, once again, using those tools, taking the steps, and having complete confidence where you're shooting, knowing your distance. Like, if you know your distance, then there shouldn't be anything wrong with the shot because you know how to shoot, as long as you've done the practice to do those reps. So, yeah, it was just an interesting situation, but it was a very cool weekend. It's nice to hunt with different dudes. It's actually so great just to be in camp with dudes that I absolutely love, and just have, like, the guys that I call and talk to very often. I met some new friends as well, which is awesome as well. Always nice to, just get to share camp with different people, have different opinions on how to hunt, what they hunt, different stories to share. Unfortunately, I've been a bit crook all week. I had not that bad. Like, you might be able to hear, I've kind of lost my voice, and it's been like this all week. I had the sorest throat all week. I'm just hoping I haven't made any of the boys sick. And often in the nighttime would be talking. I just had to shut up. Even throughout the day, I just had to shut up because my voice wasn't working anyway. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'm glad that the boys had me in camp anyway. But yeah, all in all, it was absolutely ripper day. It's just, there's something about getting out in the bush for me. And I mean, as most bow hunters have experienced, that just fills your cup up, just tops you up, and reminds you of, like, the simplicity of life and the good things in life. And it was an interesting experience earlier in the year. I went over to Japan for a business mastermind. Really, it was a boys' trip disguised as a mastermind. I didn't really know that until I got there. But we were up on the slopes and we were snowboarding, and it was cool. Like, don't get me wrong. Before I got into bow hunting, snowboarding was the thing that I was like, if I can go out snowboarding once a year or something like that, like, that was the thing that was always my cup filler, essentially, where I always felt so good after doing that and having an experience to go out to. And we were up on the slopes on day one. I was like, it's incredible to be here. But in my head, there was a little part that was also like, but it's not bow hunting. And it was just that understanding, or that realization for me of, like, I've said it so many times, this is my thing. It's the thing that I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I know it is. I just absolutely love it, and what it does, what it gives to me, it's crazy. And I was saying this before, I was talking to some friends before the rat about, it's a sadistic sport, right? Like, the hardship that we put ourselves through, the absolute slog that we do to potentially be able to see a deer, or to potentially be able to get that stalk, or get that hunt, shoot that arrow, and learn 1,000 lessons in a day, just because that's what bow hunting is. And yeah, it's just cool to have an experience and have a passion or something that you can actually just dive into so much and love wholeheartedly. It's cool to see the people that it attracts. It's cool to witness the animals that we have on offer, especially here in Australia, but realistically over the world, and the opportunities that come from those experiences, the memories that you get to keep and have as you take away. So, yeah, bow hunting 2025 for my rut was the reds were an absolute flop, and the fallow was an absolutely incredible experience. First fallow rut that I got to experience, and blown away, absolutely blown away. It was just, yeah, such a cool thing to witness, just how every deer has their own unique, like obviously they're doing similar things consistently, but also very, very different in their approach and how they do it. It's almost like men at a bar, right? The pickup lines that you have, some of them are horrible, some of them are good, some of them are smooth, some of them have no chance. It's just, yeah, a funny thing to watch. But yeah, I'm very grateful to Deer Camp for having me. Thank you, Grant. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Cambo. You guys are awesome. Love you all. And yeah, thanks for having me. And for everyone else, I hope you guys had an awesome rut as well. I hope you got out and you at least got to hear them in the bush. And if you didn't, then there's always next year. And that's something that I also learned coming into bow hunting. Like, just because you don't get the experience or the opportunity this time, it doesn't mean it's going to be the last time. So obviously, plan ahead, grasp the opportunities when you get them, grasp the experiences, book them in, and make sure you've got a hunt to look forward to, because that can give you a lot of motivation, a lot of drive to be able to continue forward, knowing that you've got it coming. Anyway, my voice is not getting any better, so I will love you guys and leave you. Thank you very much for listening along.